Welcome back to another episode of Trash Talk Podcast. Special setup, as you can tell. Sergey over here, where he normally isn't. I'm over here, where I normally am not. And there's JJ up there, where normally no one ever is.
It's a bed. I'm sitting on it.
It's a bed. It's also... JJ sleeps in this recording studio. That's a fact, by the way. He's been doing it ever since we got this studio for the YouTube channel. He's just put his bed in here and slept in here. He does it every night. It's crazy. Cheap guy. But today we have a fun episode. We've been doing something that we've wanted to do for a while. And it is about chess. Because Sergey and myself, we both play chess in a club. And JJ plays it somewhat for fun sometimes here and there. Knows how pieces move and a little bit about it. And is trying to learn a bit about it. So what we did is called the Elometer Test. And let me show this to you. Where are we? There we go. JJ and Sergey already took this. I'm going to take it live and we discuss the problems that we see. A couple of disclaimers. Really quick introduction to how chess rating works, right? Your playing strength in chess is somewhat indicated by a rating, a number that is assigned to you. And just for comparison's sake, usually like the lowest sort of rated players, so the weakest players are below 1,000, like say around 800 something. You, Sergey, right now are around 1,100.
Yes.
I am around 2,000. The strongest grandmasters in the world are around 2,800. And the strongest commercially available engines, computer chess programs are playing around 32 to 3,300. And there's some AI that is estimated to be around 3,500. The Google Alpha Zero AI, but that's sort of
does not play like
that's sort of tough. That's sort of tough to judge. It plays like a human. That's true.
Yeah.
Chess is very interesting, and this test guesses or somewhat predicts your playing strength by the riddles or the tests that you take. JJ and Sergey already took it. JJ, what was your predicted rating?
I don't remember.
Was it around 1,400, like 1,480 or something?
Yes, that's about right.
For you, it was 1,700 something?
Yeah.
Now, given the numbers that I just gave, is our national rating. So this is about the FIDE rating, the International FIDE rating, which is slightly different. But in this video, the podcast, I'm going to take this test live, and we're going to discuss the puzzles that they already did, and see what we can get out of that. So how about we just get right into it and see how this works. I hope I'm not too far off the screen most of the time. But
I just realized that the crop for this setting is still not quite perfect.
It's not very good, but we're going to make this work somehow.
We could have adjusted it.
So it's slightly too big, actually, the face cam.
Aww.
Let me drag it down. Is it possible to drag it down a little bit?
Yes, you have to do it on the other screen though, because
do it like
otherwise
this.
Yes, and then just top left corner and just drag it. Just click in the corner and
like
just drag it down.
Nope. We're doing this live, dude. This is very tough to see, actually. There we go. Like that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Alright, very much behind the scenes stuff, but that's how we're doing it here. I'm manning this computer for
the power of not editing.
Yeah, I'm not exactly.
I mean, if we're doing that, I can just stand up and move the camera a bit.
No. Well, you could actually.
Just so you are.
You want to do that too? Since we've already been doing stuff? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but that's gonna fuck it up once we go back to full screen, but whatever.
Other way. Yeah.
That's always because of the mirror.
Much better.
Yeah.
That's better. That's much better. Okay. I think
We're
this is
fucking
good.
professionals, alright?
So this is the test problem, right? And for everyone, this, by the way, this test, anyone who knows how to move the pieces decently can take this test and get a decent representation. Not too weird because it's based on real players, so it doesn't work for super weak beginners because the lower limit of this is like 1,100 or something.
Yeah.
And the upper limit is like 2,600, which none of us are getting close to. But the idea is you make the move, and we discuss it. So this is going to be interesting mostly for people who at least know how to move the pieces. But if you have ever played chess and maybe you're a little bit interested in it, maybe even getting into it, this is a good test to take and also watch us. Now, if you want to do it yourself, obviously do it before we discuss it because I'm going to reveal the solution, or what I perceive to be the solution to the majority of these problems, hopefully. The test one is very simple. I'm going to take this white rook and then move it to d8 like this, and it's going to be checkmate. JJ, fun fact, did not find this. He did, however, perform pretty well later on. So we get 76 chess problems, which we're going to go through. And in what order we get them, I don't know. This is one that you did, Sergey, I think, play bishop b4.
Yes.
And that's the wrong move, which is what I told you.
Okay.
The correct move is actually Queen D8, which is somewhat counterintuitive because you sack the Queen, but the King has to take. So Queen D8, King takes. You both see this, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we have Bishop G5 with a double check. Bishop says check, and the Rook also gives check.
Okay.
King can only go back to E8, and we have Rook E8, which is mate. You seeing that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Alright. So that's going to be the combination here. It's a difficult one to find. It's one of the easy ones. This one is also very interesting. We had this in the prep. You both played King G5, and I believe it's wrong. And here's why. King G5, I actually have Rook H1, and if you promote, I have Rook G1, and I'm skewing your King, and I'm winning because your Queen is hanging. So you can't just promote like that. So we mentioned how King F7 is wrong because I have Rook H7 to pin the Rook, and I just take it later, and it's a draw at least. So the correct move, in my opinion, is King F5. And the idea here, or the pattern, is that King F5, the only move that black has is Rook H5 check. So King F5 and Rook check again. I'm going to keep moving down the board until I get to F3. And then Rook H3, so it just keeps going that way. And then I can play King G2. Because then he doesn't have the go down and around to skewer the king after I play King G2.
Okay, yeah.
So I play King F like this. And you get what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one is a very complicated one. And some of those I also not going to be able to solve completely. You both play... No, JJ played G3 and...
I played Bishop takes on H4.
You took on H4 and then wanted to play G3 after. So... JJ, why did you play G3 on this one? Did you calculate like the takes lines, or did you just play it?
Well, I mean, it threatens the bishop, it pushes a pawn. I like pushing pawns, okay?
You do like this. Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it didn't seem horrible.
Yeah.
And that's better than half of my moves that I make in real games, so, you know.
That's true. Both those seems like a very passive position for black, unfortunately. I don't really like this position at all. And the question is, what best to do here? I'm almost tempted to play a move like Knight G1. Just this, which just looks super passive, but it kind of holds stuff together. Because the bishop's protected, and there's no ideas of like Knight G3 or something. Because we were getting under a lot of tactics here as white, unfortunately, because our king set is very weak. Taking, and then, I mean, if bishop takes, then queen takes is the line we're calculating. And then we play G3 after. It's tough. Maybe Queen E1 is a move too. Maybe Queen E1. What I want to do generally is play C5, but I can't do it right now because my bishop just hangs.
Mm-hmm.
And if Queen E1, he either has to take the trade. I'm going to actually do that and play Queen E1. He has to either trade the bishops, which is fine. I can still play C5 later, or retreat his bishop, which is also okay.
I feel like playing G3 is better than trading the bishops, though. Because then you can either if he takes,
our
then
bishop,
you just have his bishop.
Our bishop is arguably weaker than his.
If you take, then what's he gonna do? He has to move back basically, because otherwise his bishop is gone.
If you take what? Oh, you played G3, but he takes on G3 with the pawn, and then later your F3 pawn hangs. No, we can't discuss it anymore because it's no longer on the board. But your F3 pawn hangs because there's a rook right here, and this pawn is then unprotected. This one also one of the more complicated ones. A bunch of them are fairly simple. This one is not. And I think remember what you all played? Did you just castle like castle kingside? Is that what you did?
I think so, yes.
Which is okay. So a move that I generally would consider, of course, is Knight H4. Knight H4 with an idea like this, Knight here. Idea of playing Knight here later, like forking Queen and Rook.
I mean, can't he just take it?
He could probably take it because there's no like Queen H5 ideas. There's no real threats there. So, if I don't have G3 later, then it's probably not strong enough. So, I might just castle also. What I have to definitely keep an eye on is that the E5 pawn never hangs because the bishop is then pinning this pawn on my king, but it's currently pinned by a couple of pieces, so it doesn't matter. So, I might, if I don't come up with anything else, I might just castle. But I also like the idea of opening this diagonal up for my queen here to give check on H5. But where do I move the knight? Right? We said H4 doesn't really work. So that question is, does this work? I don't think so. I'm also just going to.
You need
to
click on
the
rook,
right.
On the.
Don't want to play Knight G1 again. Yeah, that's not gonna be my move. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
This one was also interesting. I think you got it right, Sergey. You played rook e4.
Yes.
And I think that's the move. Because rook e4, if he can't take the queen because he gets mated, obviously. And he can't take this either because he also gets mated with queen c8 later.
Yeah.
And he just could put stuff in the way. So rook e4 for me is the move. And this one is, I think, was one of the more complicated ones. I had a very interesting candidate, actually several interesting candidate moves. One of them is queen g6. And queen g6 is, well, the idea being if he takes, then there's this sort of pin. Or this sort of discovery going on. If you say takes, we have the bishop looking at the king here. The question is, does it get mated somehow? And that's very suspicious. I don't know. Because, say he takes, we take on f6. It's not really made. But oh wait, it does get mated. It does actually get mated. Here's how it works. Queen g6, right?
Yeah.
Obviously threatening taking here and then mating on h7. So if he takes, we actually give knight check on e7. It's a double check, so the king has to move. That's a general rule in chess. When it's double check, the king has to move. He can only move to h8, and then we have this knight to d6 mate.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. We can't take here, so I believe, no guarantees obviously, but queen g6 is the move. This one also looks kind of... Yeah, this is also one of the ones where we're like, it's tough. So we could play solidly here, which some of us have done. I think you both played a knight to f3. I think you played this one, you played this one. I'm actually going to play a nifty positional move, which is g4.
I've thought about that, but...
I'm going to play g4. I'm going to lock down light squares, and I'm just going to hop a knight from here to here to here into f5. Just play it as sort of a strategic idea.
Yeah.
And I'm locking down the position because there's nothing you can do. You can try push for like f5, but it never works because it's not supported by pawns. So that seems not necessarily a direct tactic, but it seems like a good move. This one is, I think this one actually is the same motive that I mentioned before, which is queen g6. I have to look at it really quickly though. See if queen g6, say if he takes, we can take this. Is it that?
I kind of feel like taking with the knight on e6.
That's what you did, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To get him to take with the f pawn, and then give check with the rook taking
takes.
on
yeah,
g7.
that would go for mate for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just
but I don't
seeing if it's
think it's
forcing
forced,
enough.
yes.
If it's forcing enough, because queen g6 is definitely forced. Then you have to take. And then rook takes g1 with king h8 only. But then does it get mated is the question, and if so, how? That's hard. I'm not sure if it does.
Come on, man.
So
What?
we can take a second here to discuss how unprofessional Alex is for not turning off his phone
What?
during the recording.
It's not even gonna be on the recording, you know that, right? So they're complaining that my phone is buzzing in the background, which, by the way,
every 5 seconds.
if you want,
Yes.
I can completely shut it off if that's what y'all want. But
Can't you just put it on silent?
I don't think that's even a setting in this phone. But I'm gonna shut it off completely. Disclaimer, however, the vibration isn't even on the recording. So if you had mentioned it, it would not have been noticed by anyone. But we're breaking the fourth wall all kinds of ways this podcast anyway, so it's fine. Talking about queen g6 takes, then check. I feel like it should get. Well, it actually does. It obviously does get mated because I have check here, and then later knight g6. So queen goes here. He has to take. Rook takes this pawn. King h8 is the only move. Knight g6 is mate.
Yeah.
So queen g6 is my move. Looking for the forcing lines. This one seems like there might not be a direct winning move, and this is also one of the more complicated ones we've had. I think.
I think JJ played c4.
Lock it down.
Yeah, and I played bishop f1 with the idea to move it to c4.
For a different diagonal.
Yeah, I did in fact
For a
C4.
more
I like pushing pawns.
active diagonal.
I like pushing pawns. Okay.
When in doubt, push a pawn.
That's not even necessarily wrong.
Yes.
I never claimed it was. As a matter of fact, I say it all the time.
There doesn't seem to be like a winning combination anywhere. So I'm looking for a position advantage. I'm noticing that his dark squared bishop is really bad. Would he gain anything from playing c4 himself? And if so, I'm gonna play it. But if I play c4, I also want to definitely get a piece onto d5 at some point. This is sort of complicated because the position doesn't even seem that good for white at all.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like if at all, it's sort of black has a bit more space, and if there's no direct win, I'll just play like queen e1 or actually c4. But then c4, the problem is after c4, I'm thinking like he plays queen d4, rook d4 obviously for black, and that's a good piece. So I don't really want that. So maybe I'll play queen c2 with the idea of playing rook d1, like trying to get my rooks onto the file.
Yeah.
That could at least be an idea, because I don't see any tactics, so that's what I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play queen c2 here. This one is also one that is beautiful that both of you did not play correctly, I think. You played queen d4, Sergey.
I think yes.
What did you play, Jay? You remember that?
Oh, fucking god. I have no idea. This might be one of the earlier ones as well for me, which means I have even worse memory of that than the others.
In my opinion, the correct move is queen d5. Queen d5 with check. Looks really, really cool. The reason is that if he takes the queen, I'm going to take the bishop with my bishop, like this, with the check, and then I gain his queen after with my rook. So it's a discovery on the queen. And I win a piece in the process. I was actually in the beginning calculating this if there's some kind of mate, but I just win a piece, and that's enough. So I think queen d5, and what are you going to do, right? If you move your king, I'll just take the bishop anyway.
Yep. So
I think this seems to be the right move.
Ah, come on.
Somewhat hidden, something hard to find.
You now move the bishop there.
Did I move the bishop there?
Yes.
Ah, damn it. Alright, I need to stop marking out pieces. That's bad. This one was a very interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
This one looked really cool. So, a move that I thought in the beginning was bishop g2. Because he can't take the bishop because I play h4 and the pawn just runs. But then I had the idea that bishop g2, king e3, and he's just going to take this and walk up like that and still catch my passer. So this is not easy at all. But king d2, king f3 is also stuff. The idea is that we probably have to find a way to win this with white. Because we obviously are a piece up. We have to we have to find a way. And bishop g2 doesn't seem to be doing it. Somehow. Also, if we are noteworthy is that this pawn won't promote with just a bishop because it's the wrong color square, unless if the king gets there at least. That's just a principle. If the outside pass pawn and you have a bishop of the same color square, you promote against the king. If you don't, you do not. Obvious move is taking f5, I think, but does it win? Remember what you played?
I played d2. King
d2.
Yeah.
JJ?
I don't remember.
Alright.
I might have just played bishop f5 takes. I'm not sure. That seems wrong though. I don't know.
It seems weird, right?
Yeah.
But another thing I see, or thing to see, is like a bishop f1.
Bishop f1?
Yeah. Just
okay, obviously can't take, but king f3 likely, huh?
Yeah.
I was just thinking bishop g4.
Also still blocking the access to the h-pawn, but like unblocking it.
Bishop g4 gets taken probably. We have to find a way to shield off the king, push the h-pawn through. And bishop g2 doesn't seem to be doing it. Does he catch it? Wait, we have bishop g2, king e3. We have h4, king takes here, h5, and king g5. That catches the pawn.
What's with
Yeah, what is with f1?
Probably
Bishop
the
f1.
same.
Bishop f1?
Yeah, because then he is one square further from the pawn, right?
I think so.
Can he still catch it?
So I'm supposed to make the move anyway, so I'm just gonna make one. that I think seems okay. But this is one of the ones where you have to be very precise, where you should take your time for. But I'm not going to take too much. I could probably just take this action. I'm just gonna take it. I don't think it's right, but just for the sake of the video, I'm gonna do it, and it's something that I would have to calculate a bit longer. This one I believe both of you got incorrect. I'm gonna make an instinctual move, which is Rook D7, and Rook D7. If King takes, I'm mating him in 2 with Queen E7. King C8 and Queen C7 is mate, and if the Bishop takes, I still play this. King C8 is the only move. I can take the Rook with check, and I think somehow it wins. I'm just gonna allege it. I think it actually does, because okay, Sergey, if you can follow this,
Yeah.
King B7, Queen B8 check, King A6 is forced, Queen A8 is mate.
Looks about right.
So that's one move. This one is also beautiful, and I think you both didn't see this. I'm not sure if you did this. Well, you remember what you played, Sergey?
Ooh, I don't remember.
So the answer is actually Queen H8 with check, because he has to take it. Then we have Bishop F6 with check.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice one, right? And then
Yeah,
later the
nice.
Rook is mate. So that's this one is very simple. We just play the Queen here, and we just get a back rank mate. He can take it once. We'll take it with the Rook, and he can only put his Queen in between, but we just win. It's mate.
I'm pretty sure that's actually the one I made in that one too, because it's not that hard.
Yeah. This is an endgame. And this is also not trivial, but this is, I think this is a drawn endgame. But this is about like endgame techniques, so he's just supposed to know the theory. Rook H4 is an idea, and I think that also might be the move.
I think I played Rook H4.
I think he did. Rook H3 is definitely possible.
I think I played H3.
Yes.
I might even like H3 more.
Because it both prevent the pawn from moving effectively.
Maybe also Rook D8.
Actually.
Maybe also Rook D8. I think it's Rook D8, give a check. He's going to have to, likely play. And you just keep giving checks from behind. As soon as the king makes room for the pawn, you give checks from behind. And I think that's a drawing sequence. So I'm going to play this. This one you found, Sergey. It's Queen takes this bishop. He has to take this, and then the Rook comes over and gives him mate here because it's protected by the bishop. Very nice. And this Rook is guarding the G file. So take here. This one is the beautiful one, the really nice one that I was talking about. You played Rook A1, I think, Rook FA1?
No, Rook A takes on A8.
Oh, A. So, I don't know what you exactly played. But the answer to this is nice. It's Queen B7, like Queen over here.
Yeah, I remembered something like that, but I wasn't sure.
I think I played Rook B1.
Because I've
This
seen
Rook?
this.
Yes, the one that can if you go to B1.
That would
yes.
get you mated, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's possible. I make stupid plays, okay?
But Queen B1 is great because you're threatening to take here at next move, and if he takes either one of those, the other one mates.
Yeah.
You seeing this, JJ?
Yeah.
So that will be the move. This one you found, Sergey, which is correct, which is C6.
Yes.
Forking king and queen, and if no matter who takes, we have a knight fork either here or here, picking up the queen for free. So we take that. This one, you played Rook G8 and Rook G7 respectively, which is a decent idea, but Queen takes E7 first. Because Queen takes E7,
Really?
he has to take. Yeah, he has to take. And then I give Rook G7 check. He has to go back to E... Because knight's covering both these squares, right?
Oh, right.
Let's go back, and then we have knight F6 is mate. So that's also a forced sequence. This one is very much an opening position, and I think several moves are possible and logical here. C3 is one that I was considering. And one that, honest to God, I might actually play. I don't think there's like a winning attack or anything. People might be looking for sacrifices. But I don't think there is, so I'm going to play this safe and quiet. I'm going to play C3. That seems like a good move. No discoveries with the knight. Gonna do that. Alright. Oh yeah, this one is also cool. I'm not sure I remember what you played, but
I played knight to E5.
Knight E5. The move is, I think, Rook D8 check.
Okay.
If bishop takes, we have queen here mate. And if rook takes, the queen hangs. But he has to take this rook. So I'm either winning the queen or mating. That means I'm winning in exchange or I'm mating. So that seems
Both are pretty decent.
Both are should end up in a winning game. This one is tough. I'm gonna go with what you did and play rook f1 likely, because it seems like a very solid move. I'm putting a rook on an open file. I didn't see anything tactically. I was looking to trap the queen somehow.
Yes,
but
I was trying that too.
That was my idea. But I don't see anything, so I'll play rook f1. Everything else is protected. I'm expecting rook d8, but he gets mated, so he can't do that right away. And this one was also tough. JJ, I think you made the right move in this one.
That's totally possible.
I thought you did. You took on c7, JJ took on f6. The idea is if takes f6.
Right, yeah, right. I did take on f6, yeah.
Bishop takes, king g6. He's forced to play the bishop back here. Because if he moves somewhere along this diagonal or somewhere else, I play f6 and lock him away from the square and promote next move. So he has to play bishop h8, and then I'm bringing the king in from f7. His king can't come anywhere near. I'm going to play the king here next, and I'm going to basically play f6 first and promote my pawn. So I think this seems correct. It might not be, but I think it seems that way. This one, first instinct is take here, but this is still protected by this knight.
Yeah.
So one idea is to try push for e4, but that weakens his pawn. The other one is knight e5. Both, I think, feasible moves. I could even play something like a4 if I wanted to, just positionally, because there doesn't seem to be a concrete tactical win here. So I think I'm gonna go for this move. And if he moves a knight, I'll take here first, and then take the knight. This one you had some struggles with, even though I thought you would see it. I think the move is queen takes the knight.
I've done this before. I remember that,
puzzle?
but I didn't. I remember that I did it, but I didn't remember what I did. And I kind of struggled with that this time.
I think you played like knight e4.
Yes,
but queen takes the knight, and no matter how he takes the queen, I have knight e6 and pick up the queen.
Yeah.
So I basically win the knight for free, I think, is the correct move. By the way, we're going to do the fact of the week when we're halfway through this, because it's probably going to be the full podcast, and then we're going to song of the week at the end. This one's an endgame study, of course.
Yeah.
And not so simple. I'm thinking king f1 first instinct, because I want to walk into the opposition myself, of course. But it's not completely easy. I somehow have to hold a draw as white, obviously.
I think I played king f2.
King f2, then king d2 from black, and you kind of in Zook swing. You got to give up the e3 square, which probably should lose for you.
Okay.
King g3 is the other consideration.
Yeah.
But then king e2. And you have king g4. King e3, and you probably... I think king f1. I'm going to play king f1 from instinct. This one, Sergey got correct. Bishop takes here. Skewer. King has to take, and then queen comes to b4. And I'm going to win the queen. You see that, JJ?
Yes.
Because he has to move the king either here or here, but he can't protect the queen anymore. So this is a nice sacrifice. This one was also fun. And I think, JJ, you joked about pushing the pawn, and I think it might be the correct move.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
Push the pawn, so he has to take, right?
Draw.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to hold it. You're supposed to hold the draw here. You're not going to
Okay,
win
fair
this. So he takes, and then his pawn is on this line, and you're never going to let the king come in front of the pawn for him to get the winning sequence. So he takes.
And you just move the king in, yeah.
Play king c2, king d4, king d2. I have opposition.
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk into the opposition. As soon as he gets to the side of this pawn and tries to push it, the king's behind the pawn, so then it's a draw. The king has to be in front of the pawn, which it's not going to be for him. And him making the opposition for it to be a win. So I think this is the correct move. This one, you also both, I think, promoted the pawn to a queen, which I said there's a slight trick. And the trick is, after you promote, I actually have rook e5 as an intermezzo. Because you obviously have to take it with the queen, but it's stalemate.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to be a queen.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? You can...
but any other piece doesn't win. Like, rook and knight versus rook is a draw, and any other piece is also a draw.
If he places a rook there and I take the rook...
Well, he doesn't play it if you promote to a rook.
Yes.
But playing e8 promoting to anything is never right. It doesn't give you a choice to select what to promote to. It just
yes.
If you promote to a queen, he does the stalemate trick. If you promote to anything else, the position is just a draw. You understand? So that probably isn't it. So I would play knight g6. The knight g6 protects this square. He can then take the knight with either king or rook, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to promote to queen next move, and queen versus rook is a technical win. Even though it's not so easy, not completely easy, but it's theoretically a win, and it's winnable. This one, I imagine I would have to win with white, which means I'm going to have to keep the king out. So king d3 seems reasonable. King d3, and I'm going to try to shoulder this black king away. And I'm going to have the motive that I talked about in the previous one, where my king is far enough in front of this passed pawn to give me the technical win.
I think I did c3, but yeah.
c3 could... See, we could calculate through the line, but that could be a critical error.
As far as I remember, you played b1.
King b1?
Yeah.
That might also be... I definitely didn't go all the way out there to...
King b1 definitely not.
Because I played c3, and I remember you making a different move.
Okay, yeah, my memory is really bad anyways. I
don't know.
It just seemed like something I would do.
It might not make a difference. But I'm going to play king d3. Just for safety reasons. Mm-hmm. This one you also found, rook h7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might have played b2 thinking that I could move the king around and just
take the pawn?
Take the pawn.
Yeah. But the problem is if the king gets too close to
yeah, but by then the black king is too close, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So rook h7 is a nice intermezzo because he has to take it no matter if knight or king takes. Queen g7 is coming up with mate. You found that was really good. This one is one of the complicated ones that we had. I think, do you remember what you played?
Let me see.
You make some crazy move?
They all look the same, man.
Not really.
No, they don't.
I think I played rook d2 here, just to...
Oh yeah, you wanted to double up rooks, right? Yeah, I wanted to double up rooks, right.
Just play something semi-solid.
Maybe you pushed the pawn, JJ.
I don't think so, actually.
Not push c5?
I don't remember exactly what I did. Actually, it might have been rook d5. I'm not exactly sure.
Rook d5
seems
rook
to be... Rook d5 is just sacking it. No,
that's...
I don't know. Maybe rook d6 or something. I don't know. I don't exactly remember. Actually, it might have been rook d6, yeah.
I don't hate the idea of
c5.
No, wait,
that's still sacking it. I don't remember, man. It's been too long.
Yeah.
By which I mean like 2 hours or something, because Sergei took forever.
You also took forever.
I'm pretty sure it took longer. What?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, that might be true, actually. You might have taken a bit longer than they did. That's not wrong. I like the c5 idea. You gotta think pawn takes. You both took very, very long.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't really discuss it then because that would have given it away for the video maybe. Because we wanted to do this live. But is it I don't really know. There's always like the tempting idea to take somehow on e5 because the knight is obviously pinned to the queen. But how does that work, right? It's just protected too much still. Can we just take the knight? I don't know. That seems rough.
Actually, I might have actually just played h4. I'm not sure. That seems weird. What?
Just push heavy the h pawn.
Just push pawns. It always works.
Almost.
100% of the time, all the time, like 50% of the time.
50%. If even that depends very much.
I don't know. Just push pawns.
Mm-hmm.
You should try that. Someone just play an entire game of chess and do nothing but push pawns.
You're gonna lose pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know.
Connect 8. That's a game.
Yes.
That is a thing.
Eric Rosen.
Eric Rosen played it. By the way, if you're a chess guy at all, look up Eric Rosen on YouTube.
Yes.
It's really funny. You probably know him, actually. Not seeing concrete tactics, so I might actually just do what you did and play and double up the rooks. Because it is feasible, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to break open something, like take on next sack on d7 and play rook d1 again, or push c5 or something. I probably won't, though. I probably won't. Actually, what's the idea with taking with the knight on e5 and later playing bishop g4? How you like that one? So takes with the bishop, obviously, and
why
to put pressure on this knight.
Can he then? I mean, it's opening up his king's side, but can he just push the f pawn
Push
to
the
block it?
F-pawn. He might have to. He might have to. Yeah. It does open up king's side. I'm not. Can we also sack the bishop here? Probably not. It's too much. I'm going to play rook d2. I'm kind of trying to analyze the way I would in a.
Just one quick question.
Yeah.
Why is d2 better than d3?
Because d3
because
just hangs, I think.
Yes. If not, then he can.
It's protected by like all sorts of things. The queen protects it.
Well, but you
Yeah,
still don't
sure.
want to give the rook up for a minor piece.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much it's protected. You're still losing the rook for a minor piece. This one, it's also a classic intermezzo. It's knight f6 check. And rook can't take, obviously, because it's pinned.
Mhm.
If queen takes, I win the queen. And if the pawn takes, I can't take this rook. So that's how they are kind of protected. And also with this one, I can't get mated because it's check, so he doesn't have king b1.
Yeah, I think that was.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Did you
think
find
that
that
was,
too?
What?
Did you find that one too?
It seemed obvious, but I think in the end I played something else because my brain wasn't functioning anymore at that
It's
point.
tough to do
It's-
like
it's
76
hard.
of those in a row.
It's hard. It's not easy at all. That is true. This one is complicated, and the position seems slightly worse for white.
Yeah. I didn't remember what I played here.
I don't either. I don't either what any of you played. I don't vividly remember this position anyway. By the way, I've seen them take the quiz, but doesn't mean that helped me in any way. I just saw the position. I didn't know what was right or was wrong because there's no displayed solution to this. It just gets your rating at the end. So what would one play here? This is interesting. It's like a sort of it's for a defensive move somehow. You definitely have to stop that d5 that d4 e3 break ideas. His light squared bishop is sort of weak, which we can probably make some use of by keeping that there. But do we have a tactical thing directly? I don't think so. So make a good positional move, bishop d6. Or not allow anything. I guess the objective here would be to probably hold the draw. And I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm going to play bishop d6 just as a positional move, which seems to be fine. This one we also discussed very briefly
Yes.
when you did it, and you played rook h8, and it
Yes.
seems like it has to be the correct move because the other one will be queen h2 directly.
I don't think queen h2 is forcing.
Queen h2 is not forcing because like rook move, like say this rook b the f rook b8, and then the king gets out like somehow, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's correct too. Question to you though: when you played that, you calculated bishop takes queen h2. Did you calculate rook a2 for black after that? Because you have to calculate that. Because you might hang a perpetual. You don't because I calculated it, and I think you don't. But that's at least something to note.
I mean, you can probably go to d2 over c1.
Because you can't take it because queen comes into c2 and you probably catch a perpet. Or even get mated, even worse. And then that's what you don't want because this rook's also showing up. So rook a2 is a nice resource, and I had to calculate it, but I think after king c1, rook a1, king d2 takes, there is no more checks. And this over here should become mate, so the idea is play rook here, the bishop takes, queen h2. It doesn't matter if queen h2 or queen h1, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Don't think so for this. Alright, yeah. So, and then he can't prevent this mate, I think, so this will play. This one was also somewhat interesting, and I didn't see an immediate solution to it either.
A5.
I think you did that, right? Did you play
I
A5
think
or
I
B5?
did.
Something like that, yeah.
Well,
I took the bishop on.
You took the bishop, right?
Yeah.
I was also thinking like play bishop b5.
Was an idea, but
Put pressure on stuff, Why take the pressure off? Play rook c1, and that's probably going to be a move because I don't see a tactical win, so that's. Or is it actually pawn to b5? It's tough. Could also be rook c1. Take. Not easy.
Also, if you decide
I'm gonna play bishop b5.
Okay.
Alright, we're gonna do one more, then do the factor week in between, because we're about halfway there.
Well, technically, we should do two more, then we're exactly half.
We'll do two more, sure.
Here I played king d5 to go in the middle grounds between the pawn and the bishop.
Shouldering idea,
Yes.
right? So he plays, moves the bishop. Well, he can't move it to a square way to protect the pawn, so he has to leave the bishop on this diagonal, obviously. So king d5. Bishop c2 doesn't work as a promotion, and if he moves the bishop at all, I have king c4 and win the pawn, which is a draw. And I suppose I need to hold the draw, because I can't really win this, because he can always sack the bishop for this pawn. How about king c4? You play this. What if king d5 b3? Maybe we actually do gain a tempo here. I think we have to play king e5. King e5 because it forces your bishop to move. And then we play king d4 after.
Makes sense, yeah.
To actually gain the tempo to stop the pawn. So that's the move I'm going to make. Because if king d4, he can just push his pawn through.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I'm going to do. This one is nice. You had the idea of sacrificing the rook on d6.
Yes, d6.
And that was cool, but I present to you the idea of sacrificing this rook on c6.
Yes, I thought about that too, but I kind of liked d6 more.
And he has a beautiful sequence, right? This happens.
Mm-hmm.
He takes. Queen takes d5. Another sacrifice. King takes. Bishop e4 mate.
Wait.
That's pretty cool, right? So rook takes c6 is the idea. Right? King takes, because if he doesn't take, I'll take another bishop and I just win. Right? We agree on that?
Wait a sec.
Rook takes c6.
Yes.
Yeah. King takes this rook.
Takes.
See, and those are lines that I just don't see, so I just played bishop c4.
Yes, that is in fact.
That's gonna get made. That's gonna be made.
That is
beautiful.
beautiful.
That's wonderful. So
that's beautiful.
I think actually this sacrifice also works, but this seems just to be more crushing. This one I take the knight here.
Yes.
Fairly straightforward. Actually, JJ, you found this one.
Yes.
And I find that really cool that you found that one, because it's a decently advanced tactic, not super advanced, but it's for a non-chess player, so to speak. This is pretty good. Take this bishop, take this knight, and later I have knight f7 as a threat to fork the king and the queen and win an exchange. This one we mentioned, there's literally two legal moves, and it's a bit of endgame technique. You have king g2, king h2. Correct move is king h2, because he's going to take, and you get the opposition. You enter the opposition, which means kings facing each other, and if you enter it, it's a draw. If I play king g2, and he gets the opposition, that's not so good for me. So I'm going to play king h2 to be able to enter opposition. This one, so you also found pretty straightforward. It's just made with rook h1. He can play his bishop in between, but as the knight's covering this escape square. I think you also found this.
I don't remember, but sure.
Yes,
let's just say it.
That's the mate. Oh, we actually want to do factor week. We're way beyond. Let's do it right now. Let's do factor the week right now. I'm gonna switch over to hopefully full screen. There we go.
It looks a little weird from
it doesn't.
Someone move the camera.
You know what? Yeah. I forgot to fact check it, but I'm gonna do it
right now.
Really quickly. Yeah.
Okay, then JJ, give me a fact while we do that.
Well, so you know how taxing the rich is something that people sometimes talk about, and the Brits used to do it very well. They, for a while, had it so that they would tax, I don't remember above which exact threshold it was, but they would tax everything 95%. After a certain threshold. And it was a pretty high threshold.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, but, like, for the ultra-rich, like, they basically, at some point, you couldn't make much more money than you did.
That seems reasonably fair, I think. Compare that...
Fair is maybe...
Compare that to Elizabeth Warren's plan of taxing... people who own more than $50 million, 2 cents on the dollar, starting with the $50 million, that first dollar. And people are going crazy about that idea because it's communism, obviously. So
yeah, 95%.
95% seems
You heard it here first.
Seems much better to me. The Brits did something productive. Wow, something economically...
well, that was a while ago.
Yeah,
I think there's a reference to that in one of the Beatles' songs.
Oh. Which one is that? You know that?
I don't remember.
Right, Sergey,
That's how I learned about the fact.
have you checked your fact?
Yes.
Is
I
it
have.
factual?
Yes, it is.
That's
Give me a
good.
fact. Gotta boot up
This is kind of the point of the segment.
Mm-hmm.
What is your fact?
So you know SIM cards and like bank cards,
Yes.
the little chip there.
I know.
Yes.
So do you know that it is an actual computer and not just a storage medium like a USB stick?
Yes.
Or something?
Chip, yeah.
Yes. So
I have
Did
heard
you-
that somewhere.
yes. Did you know that it runs Java bytecode?
I did not know that.
I believe a prof mentioned it once. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Which means, or actually I don't know if it means that, but Java in general is a language that is run in a virtual machine
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Yes.
cross.
The JVM, the Java Virtual Machine.
Right.
It's a very straightforward name.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's kind of
That's actually fun. That's actually a pretty good fact. I did not know that. You said it was going to be mind-blowing, and it kind of is.
And interestingly enough, because it's Java bytecode that is run on there, you can actually do certain verification things that you couldn't do with normal machine code, because you can actually verify bytecode for certain things. I'm not exactly sure how much you can do with Java bytecode, but there are certain things about it that you can, certain limitations that you can also require just by virtue of the limits of the format itself.
That is an interesting fact. Here's one maybe slightly less mind-blowing fact, but there is exactly one country in the world that is named after a woman. And would you both like to take a guess which one that is?
A currently existing country.
Currently existing country that is named after a woman. One in the world.
Let's see. What country carries?
5 seconds. Any guesses?
no.
It's
No.
you might have never heard of it. It's Saint Lucia. Saint Lucia is a Caribbean island state.
Never heard of it. Fair enough.
Only country in the world that is named after a woman. Fun fact. There's a
Yeah.
fact of the week. Let's get back to doing the
It
business.
might have come up when we did all the countries in the world. in the
Maybe.
previous
I,
podcast.
don't think I even I don't think I even got it.
No, but we looked at the entire list later, so you know.
We did. Yeah, maybe we did see it. That's true. All right, we have an interesting puzzle right away.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember this one?
Yes, I do. I played Queen Takes on E7.
This feels like a
just-
classic B4. I don't know.
And just leave your queen out to dry. Mm-hmm. Classic JJ.
With kind of ideas of knight to F5
Knight to F5,
later.
right?
Yeah.
Get a check out. That seems like a reasonable move. Like, I don't actually remember seeing this position for you, so I'm kind of calculating now. But that is an interesting move that already came to my mind immediately in the beginning. The question is always though, is there something more forcing that just wins?
I don't
somehow?
know.
Yeah. If we knew, we'd
And
do
I didn't want to
much-
spend more time
Well, I mean,
analyzing it.
Do you think the other thing is, generally speaking, about the whole forcing the win kind of thing, is like there's not a lot of your own material that is close to the king.
Yeah.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Well, forcing him would also mean like win a piece or something. Win material generally is also would be considered a winning position. But is that possible even here? I don't know.
I think the best you can do is not lose the queen without gaining something from it. Like for example, the knight b5. Wait, knight b5 just dies right away as well, right?
I was thinking like sack something on e6. Like,
Yeah.
rook takes e6 sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
or knight takes e6. Either one of those. Rook takes e6. If queen takes, obviously win the queen.
Mm-hmm.
If pawn takes, I have this bishop to g6 check.
I think that makes kind of more sense.
Which is gonna
Sounds
be-
reasonable.
Which is gonna be critical because then this and queen f4. Is it completely winning? Like, is it mating? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Tough. Do we sack the knight or the rook? Is the question. If we take with the knight,
Kind of feel like
Wait, if you take
sacking
with
the
the
rook
knight,
is-
can't you just ignore it though, kind of.
Yeah.
But what did you do? Take with a knight?
If you take it with a knight, he can either take just with his pawn and nothing really. Wait, no, the
pawn still has his check.
So, but he can also just let it sit, right? Like the knight doesn't threaten anything.
Yo, my threat is I'm gonna take your queen, and if you take with the bishop, I have knight c6 fucking.
If you play knight
knight e6,
e6, what stops him from just queen c7 takes?
I'm gonna take with the knight and back and have a fork on your king and rook.
Oh right, because the squares are
winning in exchange. Yeah. So I feel like this could be a move, and I'm gonna.
I feel better about the rook, but fair enough.
I'm just gonna make this. I want a rather second knight than rook, so I'm gonna make that move. Okay, this one was interesting, and I said that I was gonna just make an instinctual move on this one without calculating the full line, and that move was gonna be bishop d2. Because Spidey sense just says that queen is somehow trapped. Because it can't come out like this, and then not like this. But then I was also interested in calculating this whole thing. Because you said when you did it, somehow this could be unraveled. In a way that I can get a queen d5 check in, and somehow mate him there.
Yeah.
So they would have to definitely start with, I have to take on f7 somehow. I have to sacrifice on f7. But also take on f6, so I don't see anything forcing, so my move is going to be bishop d2. By no means am I sure this is correct. I don't have a complete refutation of b4 at all, which is what I'm expecting next move. I'm just playing it. Okay, this one no one liked this one. And I'm not going to calculate anything here. I'm going to take this knight with the bishop and just assume that I can somehow Zook swung him in the back here. Somehow. Without stalemating him in a way that I actually end up winning this. No other comments.
I was always torn in between taking with the pawn, taking with the bishop. I don't even remember what I ended up doing, but it was one of the two.
No other comments. This seems like there's a winning attack somewhere. And starting with rook takes g7 would be my move. Rook takes g7. King takes, queen g4. King back here. How do we continue? Not easy. How about queen h5?
I had the idea of taking the knight with
you took
the
this
bishop,
knight?
yes,
Yeah.
and then align the queen with the bishop on
Bishop
e4.
takes. Then I think I have like g6. Shut everything down. Right?
You can't. Oh no, you can. Oh, so
yeah, you can.
God.
So I think you have to just
chess is complicated.
Yes.
You have to bomb some kind of
dead.
sacrifice immediately.
Brain is dead.
Yeah. So rook g7 seems at least promising. If he doesn't do anything, I have just mate on h7. So king takes, and then I need to win it, of course. Which is much easier said than done. But it might start with something like this. I want to play this move. I really do. Sacking the bishop on h7 seems kind of weird. So there's gonna be a move. I haven't calculated through, but it seems like some breakthrough like this would need to be the case. This one I'm gonna play straightforward like you did. I'm gonna take this knight.
Mm-hmm.
Queen takes, and then put my knight on e5. Idea just I'm putting my knight on the good square. I'm with the tempo, obviously. I'm protecting c4, so he can play that c4 himself. And I'm forcing him that if he wants to remove it, he has to play f6, which weakens this pawn. So I'm just going to take this. This one, oh yeah. This one, okay, I have a story with this problem, right? So when JJ played it for the first time, I thought like, oh yeah, I immediately see the solution. And the solution that I saw was knight f6 check. If king here, it's mate obviously, so he has to take this. I'm going to take with the bishop, and then later I'm going to play check here, queen check here, and just mate him. And then when Sergey played it, I saw that doesn't work because of if knight f6 he takes, bishop takes, I actually get mated.
Mm-hmm.
Because queen g1, and I am forced to take with the rook, and knight f2 is a beautiful mate. And then I noticed I had a case of chess blindness. Because the very easy is king, like knight f6 is still correct. He has to take. I just play I just play queen g4 first. With check. He just can't interrupt it with anything. He's forced to play king h8 and then bishop f6 is just made. So for some reason, I wanted to take this first instead of just giving a check first. That is called chess blindness, and it somehow happens, but this is a...
So wait, you're saying you thought of the correct move for the wrong reason?
Yeah. I thought of the two moves in the wrong order somehow.
But it doesn't matter.
I played the less forcing way.
You only have to make one move.
Yeah, this is a mate in 1, which is queen h7. I think we all found this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
This one was also interesting. We had 2 candidate moves, or you guys did, and those were the same that I have, which is knight e5 and push the pawn to d5. Both seem fairly aggressive. Looking for a direct impact, of course. So, if knight e5, say he takes, I take. I'm likely not winning anything. And d5, of course, he moves his knight. But it also doesn't seem to be winning something. Both those moves seem kind of good, though. I have to decide on one of them. And I'd rather probably rather have my rook on the my pawn on the e file. Maybe.
So you're saying you're playing knight e5, trade the knights off, get your pawn.
That's what
there.
I was thinking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And once the pawn is there, it's also attacking the other knight, right?
That's what we want to play.
So
yes, it is.
So that forced him to make one move with that as well.
This one, I think. Yeah. What did you play, Sergey? You remember
I played a6.
You played also. You both played a6. I think it's the correct move too. B6 is a draw we mentioned, and I think a6 is correct. And if you move the king anywhere, the king just marches in. But a6, you force him to move his king somewhere, and you bring your king around like this. So a6, he can't move his pawn. He has to play like king d6, and then you come king c4, and you come around. And you outmaneuver him, you zugzwang him at some point, get your king into b7, and just win the pawn and win the game. This one also fun. There's some degree of winning combinations. I think to believe that it started with rook to g7, but it might not be the case. So I think rook g7 is what I saw. Rook g7. So if king takes, then we take the knight with the bishop, with a discovery on the queen, and we win the queen, which would be considered winning. If he plays king h8 after the rook, then we need to come up with something else. So king h8. Do we take here? Yeah, right. King h8, then rook takes here. This other pawn.
Can't we just again take with the bishop on e5?
Actually, we can't, because then he takes the queen, and you don't have.
No, I mean that will be check. He will be in check.
No, because your rook is on g7. It's not check.
Oh yeah, right. So, god.
And you can't have don't have discovery because the bishop hangs later. So this is correct.
Oh, god.
King h8. I take this pawn with the rook also. He has to take with the rook because the king can take his protected with the queen.
Also, wait.
And after that, it's check.
If he takes the queen after we take the knight with the bishop, can't we just move the rook back? So it's a discovered.
But the bishop hangs. I can take the bishop. That gets check.
It doesn't matter what exact moves you do after. As long as you agree on the first move, it's fine. And it's just about a single move.
It is the correct move too, but it's also about the idea behind this. This one. Do you remember this one?
I remember this one.
I played
b3 with the idea of a4
pushing a4
to remove the bishop from this diagonal.
I think I did that too. I like pushing pawns.
So I can take on c6.
I somehow don't feel like this is the right move.
I don't know. It's like
when in doubt, push pawns.
Yes.
I think I've said that already.
I'm getting a drift of your philosophy. Yes. Which could be okay sometimes. Doesn't seem to be a tactical win somewhere though. That's sort of.
I mean, you maybe, kinda, sorta, probably win a pawn.
Perhaps. Where do you win the pawn? Where do you win the pawn?
On c6.
So
maybe
take on c6. Sorta.
No, like after b3, a4.
Oh, okay. There's no way to interrupt that. Just rook d8. Something. I don't know. It seems like a very passive move to make.
Yeah.
like a move that wouldn't be correct in a riddle like that. Queen b3 seems interesting. This is not simple at all.
What about h4?
I don't even hate it that completely, actually.
Yeah.
It's protected by the knight.
Protected by the knight, and actually I'm threatening h5 and make kingside stuff happen. Fair enough. It's probably a move.
It is definitely a move.
Yeah.
The question is,
It's a good move. Yeah.
is it a good one? Yeah.
I'm still trying to
I
find
think
like
it was one of those. I'm not sure if it was this one, but I think it was one where I just pushed a pawn that was protected by a knight.
I'm still trying to find like the tactical solution. Like an a4 sort of thing. If he takes queen a3, bishop moves. That could be it. Could that be it? a4? Follow me here. a4.
Mm-hmm.
If bishop moves somewhere away, this pawn hangs.
Yeah.
So a4, bishop takes, queen a3. Bishop's attacked, so he has to move back over here.
Mm-hmm.
And rook takes his bishop. If he takes it, his queen hangs. If he trades queens, I have an intermediate check here. And I take his queen, so I win a piece.
Weird thought. You're saying when the bishop is on a4, you move your queen to
Queen
a3.
a3, yeah.
What if he goes bishop d1? Because then either you can take it with the rook, and he can take your rook with the queen.
Yeah.
Or...
No, the
no,
rook...
wait, there's still a
It's
pawn
worried
there.
about
There's
the
a pawn there.
pawn.
Never mind.
So I'm going to play it.
I didn't... For some reason, I didn't see the pawn there.
This seems super
Because-
interesting. I wanna
Because
see
then he
this.
would have had the chance of either taking your knight...
I want to see the
or-
engine eval for this one, but maybe that's actually the correct line. This one, I'm also make the intuitive move, which is take this knight. Did you do the two?
Yeah,
I think so. The point being that this knight then can never be contested again, because his pawn can't move, and his bishop is just locked up. His bishop cannot move. It's terrible. It's dead piece. Can't go here. It's dominated by the knight, and I think I have a good endgame, and I run my king in and hopefully get a winning position. And he's just out of moves. This one, you remember?
Yes, I played rook to f7.
Rook f7, which I think is correct. If queen takes, obviously we win the queen. And I think it even gets mated. Did it? Say
I
queen.
don't know.
Say queen takes. Jason's like, fuck do I know.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. If
Hey,
queen,
we have a camera. Might as well emote.
if queen takes g6, I take in between an f8 with check rather than win the queen. So yes, rook f7. And if the queen moves like to h8, I just push this pawn through and win all sorts of material. This one, you missed this, JJ. This is mate in one.
Mm-hmm.
You played something, but something good. Just take this.
I sure played something.
Just made it one. This one I agree with what you guys did, which is rook e1. It's very awkward for him because he has to either move his king. Well, he has to move his king. He's not going to put his queen in between. We're taking
I tried
advantage.
to rook for a queen.
Very instructional, JJ. Taking advantage of the fact that your opponent just did not castle and leaving his king in the center and it's exposed. So that's a very principled move to make.
I remember a game that was played
today, which was for one of our friends.
Well, and by today you mean yesterday.
Yeah.
Well,
Because it's 1
precise,
a.m.
yes. Rook e7 is the move.
Mhm.
Skewering this, the king has to take this, and I win the queen, and I end up with a queen against a rook, which is a winning endgame. This one was also fun. You had some cool ideas in this one.
Wait. Yeah.
You had some really cool ideas in this one. I really always try to make the rook e8 work.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to work in my head because of the queen perpetual check.
But there is no perpet, is it?
Really?
Because rook e8, rook takes, bishop takes. What are you gonna do? You don't have a check. So rook e8.
Yeah.
Rook takes, bishop takes.
Yes.
What are you gonna do? There's no check. Because the queen over here protects the square still.
God.
So that's so that's hard to see because otherwise you might
dumb.
Yeah, otherwise you might catch a perpet.
but I think this is the move.
Oh god, that's so dumb.
Yeah. This one is a similar motive to what we had before, which is the knight mezzo. So knight e6, I think, is correct. Threatening mate on g6. He has to do something about it. If he takes this, I take the rook back, and I'm up material. And if he takes his knight with either piece, I'm gonna mate him on f6, on f8, because I'm interrupting the connection between his rook and his queen, which is important, while at the same time threatening mate here. JJ, you
I
mistakenly
just totally
played.
blundered that. Yeah.
You mistakenly played queen f8.
I kind of played knight d3 instead.
Knight e3 to hit this queen.
I just totally missed the check from him.
So I think
that was in there.
96 is most forcing. Alright, this one also seems kind of weird with the queen there, the black queen, with where it is. Did someone play c3? Because that was my first idea when I saw this.
I played it,
but you put your bishop on kind of a weak spot. To be fair, but
I might have played that too. I'm not even sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't seem horrible. It blocks one of the squares for the queen.
It locks up, yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. But is it good? Maybe a bit doubtful. The position doesn't seem very strong because your light squares are super weak.
How do we feel about g4?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
your d4 pawn is hanging currently. That's something to look at. If there were to be something tactical, it would be like a queen trap again. G4 seems positionally just completely losing. C3 is solid. I don't love it though. It might be an okay move. It's probably not the best in the position, but from just looking at this right now real quickly, I'm gonna also play it. Okay, got a couple more. I'm gonna do what you guys did. Take this. That seems very good. He has to take, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then knight d5 is just an absolute beast. I'm forcing bishop d8, and this bishop is dead again. Can't move anywhere. This knight is the best piece in the world. You both did this correctly, JJ. You found this, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
C4 is the move, protecting this pawn. If he takes this one, and you explained this correctly all by yourself, this one promotes.
Yeah,
which was good find. Oh boy. We got the one.
That's why I find the ones where there's just like a handful of pawns and two kings, and they're relatively easy because
that was a nice find.
You can just see which pawn gets to promote because you know that the king has to chase it.
That was a nice find. Now this one I would like to sit down for 15 minutes, figure it out.
I think we both just ended up playing
a bishop along the diagonal. Yeah.
E5. I think we both played.
Yep.
So ideal line that I had bishop G3 forces D3. Because E2 I can just take. So D3. Do I take here? But we have D2. And that seems not good. Because then I am forced to play king E2, he takes my bishop, and then there's two pawns that I can't both stop. So this, I really don't have much of a different move. Wait, bishop F4 back. D2 still. This, I lose. There is definitely a Zugzwang sort of thing here because this king cannot move. We see that. I was thinking I had stalemate ideas where you play bishop H2 later, like you make one move, wait for D3, play bishop H2, he can't take it because it's stalemate. Obviously, the idea is to hold the draw as white. This is not simple. I believe this has to be very precise. Did you both play bishop E5?
I think so.
Yeah. Calculate from that, E5. This is forced.
I mean, it seemed like the more forcing on the pawns than if you went further up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because then he basically
but
has
I kind of now like the
D3.
idea of bishop G3 more.
Bishop G3. Well, bishop G3, Caroline is D3. What's the next move? You have to move the bishop, of course.
Take
the F pawn?
Yeah.
D2. And that's the issue that I ran into.
Oh yeah.
Because if this, then he takes this one. You have 2 pawns on the.
Maybe even
class.
now just take it.
Now just take this.
Yeah.
But pawn takes again. I have king e2, but king g2 just comes. He's just promoting this pawn. I don't think I can sack my bishop like that. That seems somehow not right. Would tend to agree. Like bishop here. Still only move, then bishop there. Or actually bishop here. Here's a king move. I got the stalemate ideas again. Maybe I have to bring the bishop on this diagonal here. This one. So like bishop here, d3 this diagonal. Then he also plays d2 and it's just lost, right? He just keeps promoting the pawn. So very fine sequence of stuff that needs to be found. So bishop needs to move on this diagonal. We agree on that. I want to say bishop g3 seems like the reasonable move. I'm thinking I'm going to make this move, even though I'm not 100% sure of it. Because I didn't want to calculate this whole thing. This one, I think there's only one move that can even do anything, which is a4. Because it's a definite draw, and the only move I have is push h4 for a lever and play along the a file. That's all I have. Seems like an easy play. Okay, this one we looked at. Did you both play king d5?
I played king d5. I don't know about
I
JJ.
think so, yeah.
Idea is obviously to win. King d5 he takes, rook c5. I mean, our king is definitely in a better position. And if he takes that, if he takes the rook on c5, we win. If he moves it along the 7th rank, do we win that somehow? That's a tough one. I think those back checks don't really do anything. I like king d5. It seems like sort of the only real idea, right? Rook takes here, say like rook here check. Gotta get our rook to the wait, we're playing here. I think we gotta get our rook to the 7th rank. Somehow, maybe get our rook onto c7 later. Bring the king around to this pawn, and I think we're gonna use the fact that his king is too far away to our advantage. So king d5 seems like the move. Yeah, this is mate in 1.
Yep.
Just very simple. And this is a very early opening move, and I'm gonna actually agree with JJ on this one. I'm gonna play the bishop a3. This seems so strong. He doesn't have he doesn't have a dark squared bishop anymore. It just dominates the entire diagonal. What's he gonna do? c5 can be played, I take it. He can't castle, he can't do anything.
See, that's exactly what I saw. I was like, it stops him from castling.
Yeah.
That's great.
That seems like a super disruptive move. And he can't even contest that bishop at all.
That's what I saw too. It's like, oh yeah. The diagonal is completely open and he can't castle.
I
like my opponent not being able to castle.
That seems like such a strong move. This is very... Very simple, just take a queen, yeah. Some of those are, I mean, they're not in the order of the toughest. Yeah.
I had all of those where I could just take a queen and almost all of them
in
the
beginning, right?
In like the first 10.
Maybe,
so I thought they were an increasing difficulty.
Maybe it's because you got the test one wrong. Possible. This one. Okay, endgame puzzle.
I don't remember.
I remember that. I remember seeing that.
Oh wait, I think I just played knight d5.
95 for a good knight position. Yeah. He has a chance to trade rooks. Which is okay. I would tend to even agree with that move. 95, threatening a check, which is not going to be super strong. You could also double rooks though. We could try double rooks. Like rook d6. We always have to think that he's gonna play.
Might have actually been what I did. I don't remember fully.
He often has knight d4. is reasonable. But I think knight d5 looks okay. I'll play it. Yeah.
Oh my god! Like I had all those in the beginning.
While to move here, we just play this rook over here. I'm not missing anything, and just stop the pawn from queening. King can get there.
Somehow completely.
You saw it flip.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I want to move.
And it happened for me for a few of them too, but
I'll get dollars and dollars. This one is a
Yes.
symbol of combination, but what you did is correct. We play this.
Yeah, I did that.
If he
too,
promotes, we have a fork here and draw it anyway. This one hangs a queen, though there is some calculation to do because you have the rook check and then later bishop e4. But you get an endgame with queen against rook and bishop, which is still winning. So this still is the correct move. And there's no sort of ideas of mating you somehow because this pawn later hangs and his king is too open, so he doesn't actually get to mate you. So we take that. This one, I think, I'm not sure what you played, but I think rook f6, right?
Yes,
rook takes f6. That's also my
Then-
move.
Then pawn to d6.
Yeah, if the queen takes, pawn to d6, distract the king off of the protection of the queen, and win this piece. JJ, you seen that? Take here.
Yeah.
King obviously can't take. Queen takes, I play this pawn forward, and this king needs to leave the protection of this queen.
Yes.
Wins us a queen, and that's enough. And this is an easy queen. Alright, that is all the riddles. Now how this works is basically we don't have to show this on video. Do we want to do this in podcast too?
Well, we want to see a ranking.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. I'm gonna fill this out. You can just keep talking if you want to, real quickly, because I have to type some things in.
Well, so anyways, what do you think about the weather?
It's pretty dark outside.
Yes. Would agree with Alex.
That's my go-to small talk, just because of the because it's
You always go weather.
so
immediately.
stereotypical that it's already almost funny again.
You immediately go weather. I mean, it is an easy topic actually. Sergey entered Russian here, by
Yes.
the way, which is fun.
Well, I mean, he
it
is a Russian citizen.
That is true.
You know.
Yeah, and not a German citizen or anything else.
That was the funny thing when we had
Oh,
that
my
whole
blitz
point
on
about him being the most foreign person.
don't look now. My blitz on chess.com is like terrible. It's
Oh.
I don't play enough. I really don't. It's actually bad. How many weeks? Oh, you see JJ's
yeah.
Sergey's and JJ's numbers, by the way. How many hours per week on average do you spend playing chess? A week, I want to say about 10. How many chess books have you read in the last 2 years? 0. I don't do books. I know the old school guys are like, oh yeah, read chess books, and then internet, everything internet.
Mm-hmm.
Engines. I'm a new school guy, man. I'm like Anish Giri, except that I'm not a strong player. But like Anish Giri, he'll study engine lines like 40 moves deep, but he won't know like the classic games of Grandmasters past. But it works these days. How many Blitz games have you played in the last 12 months? I'm gonna enter 500. Counting online games, that definitely is true. If you count Bullet, it's over 1,000. How many years have I played chess seriously? 11 years. Actually, this is not my 12th year. Well, it's 11 and a half. I'm going to type in 11. How many tournament games did you play in the last 2 years? Approximately 40. How many hours per week do you spend playing, analyzing with chess.com computer? Let's go like 6. How many hours approximately do you receive lessons by a chess trainer? I'm going to take your approach to that. 1 hour a week, 50 weeks a year, roughly. I've been there, so that's 50 hours a year. So let's go with 550 hours. I consider my level of playing chess to be, I'm going to put it right in the middle there. Not very skilled, not very poor. Above average, which the rating of around 2,000 would actually agree with. It's pretty much in the middle. By the way, JJ rated himself 3, I think? You go 3? And Sergey rated himself 2. So
there's people in the world that don't even know how to play chess. Okay?
So there's our self-aware moves for you. Right there. And then we hit next, and we probably get my rating. So
20,
it's estimated, around, that's what I thought, around 2,100. Now, there was that one, obviously, where I just misclicked. The mouse slip, right?
I also had a misclick, although you said the move that I wanted to make was
you
also bad.
You wanted to play H3, played H4 instead. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
I had one that I knew, so it would be slightly higher than this, and maybe I'll take it again at home at some point and actually calculate through stuff. The confidence interval is pretty much correct. I mean, I'm not already 1984.
Well, I'm pretty sure the interval also is just always like plus minus the same number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just they just move it up and down the thing.
So we're gonna see how my rating develops over the next 1 to 2 years, and if I somewhat settle in around 2100, of course trying to get better still after that, like with that. But I think it's decently accurate in the range. I want to say between like 1200 and 2600. This test seems pretty accurate. JJ obviously got like almost 1500 because the lowest test group that they had that they solved this was like
there is a text box there. How did we arrive at this estimate? You can't fully read it, but if you take the test yourself, you can. Link in the
take the test yourself and unwatch this entire video because now you know the answers to some of the problems.
Right, yeah, that's why we said it in the beginning. Take the test first.
Yeah, that's also why we did it in the order JJ, Sergey, me. We took the test that way because we expected him not to miss a problem that JJ knew and so on. So this is how we did this.
Although there was, I believe, one where he said you agreed with me and not with him.
That is correct. Bishop A3. Bishop A3. But that's fine. That's both moves were fine. I think Bishop A3 just looked more dominating. Fun test. I want to do this with both of you. I think this was pretty cool. We have one more thing before we get out of here, which is the song of the week.
Yes.
And JJ,
right, yeah.
do you want to start with your song?
Sure. I'm not 100% on whether or not I have used this before.
Probably have.
Someone promised to update the spreadsheet.
Still on it. You promised to do it for over a year, didn't do it.
My song of the week is Heaven Nor Hell by Volbeat.
I don't think you used it.
That is low-key
Memory
still
says you did.
Arguably one of the better Volbeat songs, although there's a lot of great ones.
There are so many great ones, man. It's not a top 5, though. I don't know if it's top 10 even.
Probably not.
It might not even be top 10.
Be top 10.
I'm gonna have to judge that when...
The problem is I would need a full list
Yeah.
to make this.
Also, I need the newer album to be a little bit further in the past.
That's
because
also true, yeah.
Initial hype hasn't gone off yet. But Jed...
we also did a review on the new album, by the way.
On a podcast.
The podcast is titled Rewind, Replay, Rebound Review. Because that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that one. That was cool. Sergey, what's the song of the week?
I'm gonna go with a remix of a classical piece.
Ooh. And he is lying when he says classical.
Dude, he's on it. What's your piece?
Beethoven Virus.
Wow.
Yes.
That might be the oldest song of the week we ever had.
Well, the remix is.
The remix, but the original bass of it. The remix probably not so much, but we've never had Beethoven before, that's the first song of the week. First time we have a classical composer, which is good, by the way. That's the diversity. My song of the week is I also am reasonably certain I haven't used it, but I'm not 100%. It's Hanging High by Last Days of April. Doesn't relate to the season at all. It's not April. It's September. What's the song about?
There is a song that you could have used.
Yes, but I don't like that song quite as much as this one.
It's not a bad song, but
it's also not a good song. It's
yeah.
just a song.
September by Earth, Wind and Fire.
You know it, even if you know the song, even if it doesn't.
Trust me, you've heard it before.
Yeah. That's all of our songs of the week. Thank you for watching this. I suspect that this podcast was mostly interesting for people who are into chess, or at least know how to play chess. Don't worry, we're not going to do this every week now. We have a separate channel for that, which is called Chess Progress. Link in the description. We just did it because Sergey was here and we wanted to do this anyway. Take this test, especially with those two guys. I wanted to see how they do. But next week we should be back for regular, good, old-fashioned trash
talk.
You didn't do it. You didn't even do it once. It's okay, come on. You gotta learn some stuff, man. You gotta take some inspiration from our dudes Hollywood and Smokey.
I was about to say, it's not like we made this up.
So yeah, we copycat all that stuff. But thank you for watching. We're gonna be out of here. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to Trashcan TV, and join our Discord server. Link in the description. And JJ.
That's it.
Sergey.
That's it.
That's it.